Hi, my name's Nikolai, aka 56 Miner, and today we're unboxing our June Premium box. This month's box is all about color pencils. We'll go over some foundations of the medium, and we're super excited to introduce you to a new product that lets us use color pencils more like a watercolor. We've got a lot to cover this month, so let's get into it. For our service this month, we have a SketchBox Signature cold press paper pad. This rough textured cotton paper is perfect for color pencils and will let us achieve some really fun effects. This month, we partnered with Derwent to bring you a custom curated 12 set of their ChromaFlow color pencils. These pencils are great as they're highly pigmented and offer a really rich, vibrant color. The soft core offers smooth texture to our shading and a quick laydown to build color. Using a very light hand, we can see how that textured paper really grips onto the pigment and allows us to build color really quickly. This technique is called soft pressure blending, and while it can take some time, it is really rewarding when you want a high level of control with the colors you're laying down. By going over the same area, we're covering more of that page with the color pencil pigment, so it's going to appear to be a lot darker. We can always lighten our hand in order to get a more softer value, and we can use two different gradients in order to blend color. Here you can see I'm building up that red from an opposite direction, but I'm making sure that that center is a very light pressure area. I'll go back over with our yellow again, and you'll start to see just how blendable these ChromaFlow color pencils are, as it'll create a new intermediary color. Our next technique is going to be called hatching. Hatching is when you create directional lines in order to kind of attribute an idea of form to whatever you're drawing. By reducing the pressure that we use, we can still get those very light values, and then we can increase our pressure to get darker or more distinct lines. We can also cross hatch, which is just layering those lines in a different direction, but if you go too heavy with that, you can flatten out your image. This next technique is called burnishing. So burnishing is when you layer a light color on top of a darker color in order to create an illusion of form. So I've already gone and set down a darker blue. I'm going to go over it with a lighter, and you'll see that it adds just a little bit more dimensionality. Now you can always go back in with that darker color to layer it, but I do suggest to end with that light color as you're building pigment from the farthest back to that top layer. It'll help to make your blending look a bit more consistent. The next item in our box is going to be a bottle of Meltz Holben's Colored Pencil Blender. This product allows us to work with colored pencils in a more watercolor style. Let's grab the Princeton round snap brush included in this month's box in order to explore the different effects that we can make. I've gone ahead and created a couple of gradients focusing on warm and cool colors, and I'm just using a little bit of that Meltz in the brush in order to activate that pigment and smooth out that gradient. You'll notice right away that the Meltz product takes a little bit of the white of the paper away, and this helps to make a smoother gradient. Notice how our yellows become super vibrant and saturated once we incorporate that Meltz product. I've found that our blender works best with oil-based or highly pigmented color pencils. The next two items in our box are also going to be from the Holben company, and it's going to be a pair of their color pencils in Juan Brilliant and Pink. Now, if you've been a long-term subscriber, you know that I really love floral illustration. So I'm going to do a quick sketch of a tulip in order to explore some different effects that we can do with our Meltz product. If you're not big on floral illustration, try taking some inspiration from our prompt this month, Mystical. With my initial sketch in that Juan Brilliant complete, I'll go in with the pink and darken up a few areas. As a final touch, I'll add a soft gradient from the top and the bottom, using the green Derwent pencil for the stem. Next, I'm going to go in with our Meltz, and I'm going to focus on areas of shadow. Because that Meltz product is going to darken any area it touches, my lightest whites should be areas where there's none of that blender. By working in lighter values like this, we can get closer to that watercolor effect that we were talking about earlier. The Meltz is also going to increase the saturation of our color pencils, and in the case of our green, shift it to a little bit more of a yellow color. Now that I've got these really nice gradients, I'll go in with some darker colors to really emphasize those shadows and separate the flower from the page a bit more. Try layering and combining different color pencils to create some new colors this month. Because color pencils are such a great drawing medium, this month I thought it'd be fun for us to go through the process of creating a crystal. I'll start by establishing our main shape, that outside outline of the crystal. Then I'll move on to create the main facet, so the largest side, and then build off smaller facets from that shape. This will help give our crystal a bit of visual interest, and then we'll connect our interior lines to that outline to give a sense of structure. Let's take everything that we've learned so far and use it to create a more realistic crystal. I'm going to focus on blues for my crystal, but you can really use any color. I'm going to start with the lightest in order to get our base sketch in, using the same process we just described, and then go in and start to build out color on the darkest areas. You don't have to be too strict with how you go about coloring your facets, but a good rule of thumb is to make each side a different value so that they can look distinct. With my melts fully dry from that first pass, I'll go in with a darker color and really emphasize those corners and edges and create some gradients. The more contrast between the dark and light areas of your crystal, the shinier overall it's going to look. So don't feel that you need to go too dark, but if you are trying to achieve more of like a rich amethyst, that is going to take some time to build up those values. And you'll notice that I'm using the term gemstone, crystal, and glass interchangeably, because you can really use this technique to depict any of those. If you're looking to add more shine without necessarily adding more color, a light gray is a great way to do that, and we can use our Meltz blender to darken it up just a little bit and create a sense of form. Here you can see that gray almost creating the illusion that we're looking through our crystal. That's all for this month's video. Hope you enjoyed it, learned a few things, and if you post your work online, make sure you use #SketchBoxJune. We love seeing what y'all create each month. And if you want to check out any of our previous videos, head over to our YouTube channel where you can like and subscribe. And I'll see you next month.